How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm tired.
Yeah?
I've been trying to wean off caffeine again, like cycling
no.
off. Those first few days are hard.
They are, well, I would say they are theoretically difficult. I wouldn't know.
Theoretically, I want to punch you in the face, especially because I see your ghost right off camera.
Hey, everybody. I'm Josh.
And I'm tired. I'm Jeremy.
Welcome back to Phantom Power Hour, where we talk about Phantom in power for an hour.
Yep.
Just
All
a show
this
about
requires
all phantoms.
Ghost hunting. We haven't really gotten into it much, but energy drinks. I did a pun and I didn't mean to.
Oh. What? I totally interrupted you with my bad gimmick over there.
No, I was just gonna say there's a lot of stuff on the table, and I don't think you guys can see like any of it.
No.
Because this is a complicated one.
Yeah, we got some stuff going on.
You might see, I don't know, if I move enough, can you see the amp back there?
Beep. Amp.
There's another one back there.
Oh, they can't see that one.
Which, through the power of, I don't know, the phone, I guess I can switch to this. I'll just remind me and I'll send you this. So here's what we see.
Ooh.
There's Josh from this angle. Much less flattering lighting. But, so, 1 amp there. One up here. We're using N13s, and you guys are going to be able to hear that through the magic of Post.
Post, indeed.
And that's why we're going
not
to
Malone, not Post Malone.
Well, I don't know. Maybe.
I'll call him. We'll see.
Call him. Where's your phone? Anyway. So that's fun.
I guess we won't jump into it.
We won't?
No.
Okay.
What have you been up to, Jeremy? Why are you a tired boy other than caffeine? You've been a busy bee.
Yeah, I think we're going to talk about this on another episode too. But so diversifying your income means a whole lot of different things.
Yes.
In the music business, and sometimes you take gigs that wouldn't be your first choice, but
Very true.
they're not that it's a bad gig. I ran sound for a live show for like 3 weeks. So working here in the mornings, working there at night, and then all the while there's like a few other gigs that are happening, and then more and more business coming to the studio. I'm like mixing, mastering like 3 records right now, and it's a lot.
Yeah.
You got to learn to say no, and I haven't figured it out.
Boundaries are tough, man.
It is, especially when you work for yourself.
Yes.
And even me, like 16 years into this, I haven't figured it out completely, but I'm thankful for the work.
Exactly.
But that's why I'm tired.
Isn't that a strange like paradox there where when you don't have work, it's extremely stress inducing. And when you have a lot of work, it's extremely stress inducing.
In a different way though.
Oh, yeah.
Like in a very different way. Like when I would get home, I was so sore, which is weird because like I did not get to the gym like I normally did. And I was so tired, but the weird part is like I'm sitting in a booth all day.
And like mentally attuned all day as well.
Yeah, and that was the weird part is like I'm watching because I track my steps. I try to get at least 10,000 every day. And like the last 2 weeks, if you look at them, it's like 3,000. Like I did nothing, but I hurt so bad because I don't know. It's a different kind of like being tired because you're just mentally so locked in. But maybe we're getting too far in.
Yeah, we'll talk about that more next episode. But I just wanted to catch up a little bit. Haven't seen you in a week or so.
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Has it been that long?
I think so.
They flew by.
I'm surprisingly not tired. I finally got my sleep schedule back on track. This whole last week, I've been staying at home with my doggo.
Have we talked about it?
We haven't.
Do you want to talk about it?
That's fine. Yeah. She's doing great. She's doing surprisingly great. So we have a boxer who is 6 years old named Willow. And the shortest version of the story, last year, she had a lump on her leg. We went to get it removed and got a biopsy. It was soft tissue sarcoma, which when you have a bad scenario is the best version of a bad scenario because soft tissue sarcomas very rarely spread. And when they do, they spread fairly slowly. So fast forward to about a month ago, that tumor had grown back much bigger this time and burst. So we took her to the ER. They patched her up, and then we got referred to a local surgeon to see what the next steps were. And the only feasible option was amputation, which is rough. But again, thankfully, the best version of a bad scenario is it was a hind leg, and dogs use their front legs for 70 to 80% of their support in the first place.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either. So let's see, a week and some change ago, she had the operation, and the next day we picked her up, and she was like pulling us out of the hospital. It was wild, but she's been recovering super well. But my sleep schedule was so screwed up because her sleep schedule was screwed up with the medications and stuff, and I was sleeping in the living room with her most nights while she was in her like pin that we got for her. So I was up until 5 or 6 in the morning some nights, just staying with her. All rough in the best version of rough possible. So
pun intended.
Oh, not by me, but I like it. I like it. And before, I know y'all are wanting to know, why do we have the amps? What are we going to do? We're going to get to that, I promise. Let me take 2 more minutes of your time to nerd out, though. Okay. So one benefit of staying home for the week caring for my doggo was that 90% of the time she was knocked out, right? And during that time, Jeremy, I know this is not a world that you get into, but there are just so many great games out right now.
You have to show me this. Like, one, I don't have a Windows machine, so it makes it hard to play games. I do have a Switch.
Switch is great. Not as many options, but Switch is great.
My kid's into Mario Odyssey. I'm playing that.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
It's fun.
It is. Have you played Tears of the Kingdom? Zelda?
I have one Zelda. I don't know what it is, and I didn't play it much.
Probably Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, that's right. That sounds right.
That one is excellent. I might get hate for this. I think Tears of the Kingdom is better. Although Breath of the Wild was the game-breaking one. I'm not taking that away. But, man, I've been playing. Elden Ring DLC came out. Been chipping away at that.
I'm going to shake my head. Yes.
Elden Ring's going to come back later in the episode, I promise you. Once Human came out, free-to-play MMORPG, survival, first-person shooter. So good.
I understood 3 of those.
Just so many great games. So I got to, between caring for Willow and, trying to keep the house out of an absolute state of disrepair, getting some other work done that I could get done at home, just been chipping away at games, and it's been great. So
I'm going to show my age here. The game, as I used to play games, one of my favorite games that I'm trying to figure out how to play it was called Pharaoh. It was kind of like an old, like, I'm not even going to say like another game that's crazy, stupid old, and people are like, well, that doesn't even make sense. Like Command and Conquer type of game.
Oh, yeah.
But it was like, it's so much fun. It's the music in that game that does it. If anybody knows how to play it on a Mac, let me know.
Oh, I'll set you up with an emulator and a wineskin.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
We'll get that running.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And the other thing, there's a super old game. I've never been able to find this. It's called Normality.
Not heard of it.
I think it was probably the late 90s. Like it probably, if you go back and find it now, it probably looks horrible. But that game was so much fun. If anybody knows Normality. Please don't tell me that I made this up and it was a fever dream one night. I know it exists and it's crazy fun. It's like you're this weird surfer dude, like the most 90s guy on a quest to save the world. It's absurd and it's hilarious.
That sounds great.
And I really want to play it again.
Pharaoh makes me think of, did you ever play Age of Mythology?
Yes.
The same creators of Age of Empires, which is real-time strategy, just like Command and Conquer, but kind of different vibe. So that's kind of what it makes me think of. But
yeah, the Pharaoh, I think it's the music, dude. Like it's a vibe. The whole game, it was so much fun. I really want to play it again.
Well, we'll make it happen, Jeremy. Anything I can do to, get you playing some games, which is incredibly irresponsible. I know I'm not being the responsible one here. tempting you with ways to sink your time into something non-productive.
Because we have a lot on our plate right now.
So much on our plate.
Anyway, speaking of plates, guitars. I don't know. It was a terrible transition. I got a new guitar.
You did?
Yeah.
I'm excited for this.
Didn't really expect it. But you all saw his. I was secretly jealous. And then, surprise, I got one too. From Vola.
Yeah.
But should we just open it?
I think so. Let's show the people what they want to see.
So, this is a company I knew nothing about before you had brought it up. I mean, I've seen them.
They're pretty young.
Are they? I didn't know how long they'd been around, but I knew very little about it. Did not know what to expect. I mean, if we want to talk about this case that comes with it, this is a hefty boy here.
It's
is yours the same one, just bigger?
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, this is cool. Like the case in and of itself is like pretty impressive. The other impressive thing, this thing, when he told me it was coming, it shipped in 2 days. I got it
wild.
in 2 days from international. Like these are made in Japan. Got here in 2 days, and when I got here, it was in tune.
That's exactly how my bass was too.
Like,
I
don't know how they manage that.
I don't know.
But
was your packaging like box packaging similar to mine?
Yeah,
in the case, and then just
packed really well. The fretboard, the way they protect the frets. Did yours have the plastic on it? I've gotten rid of that because I've opened it and I've played it once already. But
oh no!
Yeah, this is
This is not a real unboxing.
No. So
I've got to say, the tables have turned. How the turntables when it comes to jealousy in an instrument. Because
ignore the Gibson strap on here.
Ooh.
Hey, it's what I had, okay? But
this thing is gorgeous.
I had no idea what to expect. And when I opened it up, I gotta say I was surprised. I haven't even done the peel on the pickguard yet.
I didn't even notice. Spoiler alert, I also played it like 10 minutes ago.
We had to get the amps set up for you guys. So, but he didn't know. He started asking questions, and I was like, I'm not going to answer any questions yet. But P90s, single coil, Goto 510 bridge, I think.
Meaty bridge.
Which is really interesting because one of my friends who's just an absolute killer player. I am not a very good guitar player. I enjoy playing guitar. I can do it to be kind of dangerous in a certain situation, but I'm not a guy to like sit here and rip on a guitar and show you how good it's going to be. But this dude can absolutely rip. He's a producer, engineer, session player, plays live. Incredible guitar player. He said his favorite bridge. I even texted him when I opened this up. Because I want to hold this. I want to get the documentation out so I don't misspeak of what it is.
Here's the back while he does it. Pretty standard bolt-on neck. He's getting the documentation, so I'm not going to make a guess as to the wood type, but also locking tuners, which I always love to see.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
And reverse headstock, which I
did not like.
We had a bit of an off-camera conversation. I personally really like it. I also, for what it's worth, I like their headstock shape. I know that there's a lot of people that are really particular about that kind of thing.
I think it's the sharp edges that initially put me off. But ultimately, I mean, it doesn't really matter. Like
sharp edges on a body, I usually don't love.
Yeah.
What's the Ibanez? It's the really like legendary metal guitar, Iceman, I think. It's a sharp, pointy body. I don't love those that much.
Yeah, it's the Goto 510, 510T with the trim. Anyway, go on.
I didn't have much more to say other than sharp edges don't bother me except for when they're on the body. Except for very specific situations where I actually do like it. So, the one I haven't tried the trim yet. Have you messed around with it?
Yes. I gotta say, the trim on here, like, the outfitting is impressive. And, I mean, I think we should say this. This is not a sponsored video.
No.
I did get sent this guitar but I don't have to make a video about it. But I just thought it would be really interesting to do. But the bridge, what I was talking about, my buddy who's a way better guitar player than me, his favorite floating bridge, and I've heard this from a few people, is like the Godot 510. And because it's really stable, it feels good, it stays in tune, and this is outfitted with that. Mm-hmm. Like if you already go out and get an American guitar with kind of the same trimmings, and I feel like this is kind of the vibe that I'm getting from Vola, but like bang for buck, if I were to go 1-for-1 in an American made, it would be way more expensive.
It certainly would be, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Way more expensive. And to have a neck that feels this good, like you can always give a dead giveaway with the fret finish here.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
It feels better than some of my guitars that are like 3 times as much. I know I'm talking quieter, but like I'm still trying to make sense of this in my head. It's like, I mean, I know there's going to be the people out there, oh, you're just shilling. I don't care. I don't care. I don't need to make anybody happy. I have plenty of guitars.
Yeah.
But what I can't make sense of is why so many American guitars can be, like, if they were equal to this price point, you wouldn't get half the guitar.
No. And we also have talked a lot about how entry price for a good instrument has gotten lower in recent years, which both things can be true. We are getting higher quality instruments from multiple manufacturers from different parts of the world that are higher quality while maintaining a lower price. But at the same time, I mean, I don't know about specific brands, but you can go and get like an American custom shop version or something like that for much more money, and maybe it's on par with a guitar like this, or maybe it's not even quite as refined in terms of craftsmanship. And that's, like you're saying, that's the part that boggles my mind.
And it's hard to get around to, because I remember when I was younger, you stayed away from imports.
Yes.
They were awful. Mm-hmm. Especially like in the very beginning, like Japanese imports were not good. I don't know when that change happened, but like I know just from like post World War II Japan, when they really like tried to focus on strengthening their economy, like there was a big push in manufacturing and like getting good at things. And like, I don't know, you see, I mean, there's always going to be people who disagree, but you see it in Japanese cars, you see it in guitars now, where like they sucked hard for a while, and now that's like, well, geez, this is a dependable product.
Well, think about some of, at least in the recent years, some of the most kind of established entry-level guitars when it comes to sound quality and craftsmanship. You've got Ibanez with their like Geo series, which you can get sub $200, and it's going to be great.
No, dude, they have U.S. lines, right? Or are they all
so.
Are they all Japan?
But I know that Ibanez, Yamaha, Fernandez are all Japanese companies, which we don't have to get into it. We can talk about it later, but Fernandez is bankrupt.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Way to drop a bomb.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it's different for these folks, because this is a fine instrument.
It is, yeah. You want to put headphones on? You want to give them a little tasty taste of what it sounds like?
Let's see. See what we can do here.
Let's see. I'm going to look through documentation real quick. Oh, this doesn't give us any specs, does it?
I tossed them on the floor over here.
Oh, I was just going to go through what woods we're working with. And
there's really not much here. I imagine it would be online, if anywhere.
Yeah. Do you remember if so the bass that I got is their PJ version of a bass, but they have their own in-house wound pickups. Do you know what the case is for
these? Are proprietary.
Okay.
Yeah.
Including the single coil as well?
Yes, I believe so.
Nice.
I know the P90s are. I don't know. You want to do some like Googling?
I'll do some Googling. I'll get some googly eyes.
It's like, by the time he told me he was going to be sending us one, I didn't look anything up. I was like, oh, okay. I honestly didn't know what I was expecting. And now that I have it, I have all these questions, and I started texting him like when I was on the road. It's like, okay, what is this? What does this do? What does this do? What does this do? Why did it come in tune? Like,
so this is the Vola JZ FRO, JZ FRO in Olympic white. Do you want to let them know what it retails for? Do you want to get to that this point?
Yeah. Is it
just
like 11 or ish?
A little bit more than 11. It retails for $12.29 US, which I know that depending on where you are in your musical journey as a musician, that could sound outrageously expensive for an instrument, or it could sound absurdly affordable for what we're getting with it. Which is why we're saying, like, you could spend 2 times as much or more and find these little kind of flaws with something that you're not going to be happy about, right?
I have guitars that are much more expensive than this.
Yeah.
And I like this is the thing too. Like, initial reactions are one thing, and I know with sometimes imports, and this is me not having a huge background with this company, so I don't know. But like, when something can feel good right off the bat, but stability over time is what makes the difference. And I have had one guitar, just one, that has been like impeccable over time. And I've had that guitar for, I bought it in 2004. So holy cow, it's 20 years. Yeah. It's my PRS, the red one. It's a custom 24.
Yeah.
Custom 22, sorry.
So let me read off some of these specs here. As we already said, handmade in Japan, bolt-on neck. It's an alder body with a roasted flame, one-piece neck.
The neck feels great.
The neck shape, for those of you like really nerdy guitar players, they just call it the Vola MC neck shape. When I played it, I am not a connoisseur of necks by any means, but I do know.
I'm not either, but I want to know what this is because I really like it. I
really love it. It feels pretty flat.
It does,
like an Ibanez style neck would be.
It feels fast.
They say MC, so I'm assuming that means it's like a C shape type of neck, but I don't have any other info on that side of things. Stainless steel frets.
That's the one that might be a bummer for me, and I can explain why later.
Okay. It doesn't say fret size, but they're not tiny. I wouldn't call them jumbo either.
No, somewhere in between. I don't know.
And then, like you said, Goto 510 bridge. They come with Diodario strings, locking tuners. That's about. Another thing that I really appreciate that seems to be becoming more and more normal, especially for these boutique type of builders, is lumen lay inlays. So
does that mean they glow?
Yeah.
So you can see on a dark stage?
Exactly. Okay. Which is a complete game changer if you've never had those before. All of my Marcos, your Marco probably has lumen lays as well.
Yeah, I have noticed that. I don't play live a whole lot anymore, as I'm mostly in the studio, but it's where I have lights, so...
Unless you want it to be really moody.
Yeah, which we've done before.
Can we do like a only candlelit session one day?
Please.
That'd be so fun.
Get nice and romantic.
And it would smell good. We get smelly candles.
So one thing to think about, once I hand this to Josh, you'll realize how much of a better player he is than me. But this is my guitar, so I'm going to start. So, but bridge right off the bat.
We talked about it briefly, but before we get too into it, let's talk about kind of the chain of operations here. Mm-hmm. So you're going into your H90.
Yep. Just a little bit of ambient stuff. We might flip through different sounds just for fun. Mm-hmm. Going into 2 clean amps. You got a Fender Vibra King over here. And then like a Mesa Boogie. I think that's a 2B or a 2. I don't know.
2B?
It's old. It sounds great. They're both pretty clean. Mm-hmm. If I bypass what's going on here.
So completely dry.
It's not adding a whole lot. tune.
We do. That's out of tune because Jeremy over here had it in drop D, and I play stuff in drop D. I'm not super comfy in drop D though when it comes to just chording and just kind of noodling around. So I put it back into standard.
I'm really excited somebody's mowing as well. That's really great. Yeah. Like I'm not a showy player. I can just be like, it just feels nice. One thing that really surprised me was the feel of the neck. Mm-hmm. Like I hate finished necks. I hate finished necks.
They get sticky.
This is somewhere in between. Like it's roasted maple, but I don't know. Would you call this finished? If anything, it's definitely like a matte finish.
Not Greg or Sam.
Old Matthew finish.
Old Matthew finish.
But it feels fast. And even if your hands are like slightly sticky, they're still going to slide over this whole thing. Not that I'm a fast player by any means. Just feels nice.
Can I point out one small intricacy about the body shape that I appreciate?
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is intentional or not. Show the people down by your bottom strap here. So you see how there's this little notch. As a player that's on stage all the time, I always preach to my students and even people that I play with, fish your cable up and around through the strap, because if you step on it, you don't want it to get pulled out and you don't want it to break your output.
I'm not doing right now.
But we're sitting, it's fine. However, because this is here and when you're standing and it's hanging, you have this little gap that's perfect for your cable to fit through. So you can like be moving it around and that cable's not going to be tugged on by the strap. Don't know if that's why it's there or if they just thought it was a cool shape, but I saw that and I was immediately like, that's a little thing that I really appreciate.
It's definitely interesting. That was one of the things, like the first thing when you open a Vola, I feel like most of their body types have this guy and the headstock.
Yep.
Like that's how you know you've got a Vola going on. And it's either going to really turn you off or really turn you on. I don't know. I'm not here to judge.
Need a clave.
Anyway, so what I didn't expect was to have a push-pull on a P90s and a single coil. So
I didn't even know that was there.
it took me a while to realize. So tone knob, volume, pickup selection, which is just you're selecting the back P90, both P90s, or the front P90.
Oh, middle's not middle pickup.
No.
Oh.
The push-pull engages the single coil in the circuit.
No matter what setting you're on.
No matter what setting you're on.
Interesting.
So, like, in the middle with this, at least because I texted him and I was like, how does this work? This is my understanding of it, and I can't really find much documentation online to tell me if I'm right or wrong, but it sounds right. Both P90s, pop in this guy. It's going to give you that, like, out of phase thing. You know, the cool part is you can still get, like, the quacky stuff. Maybe I can. Let's kill this for now. Like very P90, big full. You kind of get the out of phasey thing.
Yeah.
So you could do a little mayor stuff, governor.
Well, that leads me to ask the same question I asked earlier.
The button.
What is that button? Because let me tell you what I noticed about it, and then I want to know the answer if you have one. So I didn't know about the push pull, but I did notice that once I push the button, volume doesn't do anything, and it feels like output is higher.
Yeah, that confused me because if I put it all the way up, let's get to bridge. So a little bit louder. All it is, they call it the blower switch. It just disengages tone and volume. So you're like straight out.
Okay.
You're straight
the
out
most
of the guitar.
passive of all passive type of.
I guess. So I guess if whatever resistors are in line here and the pots, you're just bypassing that and you're going straight out.
That's kind of cool. I like that.
I could see using that because I am normally one to run my guitar full throttle all the time.
Just wide open. Yeah.
All the time. And I get annoyed, especially on my guitars that are aging, like my PRS that I really like. That pot is so loose. It's not noisy yet, so I haven't replaced it. But it's loose. So if you're really slamming, even if you don't touch that pot, it starts to wind down. I'm like, why am I losing my... because it's... So, like, being able to buy... That's actually pretty cool.
That's a cool idea, yeah.
Little gimmicky. I don't know if I would need it on it, but I have it. I'm going to use it. So, I don't know.
So... As far as we understand, then, there's no way to get only the middle pickup.
Not to my knowledge.
Let me pull up this website one more time. Let's see. Because I do love a middle pickup sound under the right circumstance.
I mean, you can text Greg if you wanted to.
Yeah.
You could FaceTime him.
Yeah, it just says that the two Vola VFP 90 pickups and the bridge and neck are complemented by a VS1 single coil in the middle position, which is activated by a push-pull pot on the volume knob. So that wording does make it sound like it's purely additive.
Yeah, you're never going to get it on its own. But I like that you get the quacky thing just by putting it in the circuit.
Oh, it is a modern C-neck. That's what MC was standing for.
Like so you, I don't know what C means.
Just a different neck profile.
Let's get something that's like slams a little bit.
I will...
Slasher!
I'll link. I'll post a link in the description for the page for this specific model if you want to read through some of those details yourself a little bit more. But
Are we
clipping?
I don't know. Let me check. Perfect.
Nice.
Thank you, sir.
Oh no! Oh no!
Oh yeah, the blower switch, the volume does nothing.
Right.
So, let me turn my tone up a little bit. These
Blower
mics
switch,
are
hardly know her
definitely
switch.
dark. Yeah, the blower switch is kind of cool.
I like it.
But the first bridge here, neck pickup, sorry. It's just fun. you have those certain guitars where you can just lay into them and you don't feel like you have to push hard to get him to sing. This feels like one of those. That's weird. I don't like that.
It's extra roomy. Dream sequence.
I'm in the weird spot here. Let's find something fun. There's so many like weird presets.
That one's cool.
You're better than me. You need to play this.
I don't know about that. Jeremy was saying this earlier, and I said, Jeremy, no, I just know a couple tricks.
Yeah, you know more tricks than me. And more theory and better hand technique. And I want to know what you think of the feel.
Ooh. Oh, dropped my pick. I think the problem, Jeremy, you're just using too big of a pick. I get those little picks.
Yeah, I'm used to the green guy though.
Well, one thing I'm going to have to do is take us out of metal territory.
Sorry.
Can I get either the tuner or just no vibey vibe? There we go.
Minus 12. Plus 8. Minus 2. Minus 0.
Beautiful. I like this preset. What bedroom vibes?
Yeah.
I can feel that.
Getting sexy.
NBC. I'm not used to a pickup switch of this style in this location.
Yeah, the down low.
I did notice I hit it a few times.
I did that too.
I also do play closer to the neck than maybe a lot of folks do. But
I tend to, like when I'm really hitting, I'll hit closer to the neck. And I noticed I snagged it once or twice. Mm-hmm. So seeing you do it, I wonder how easy that is to move.
I mean, probably not too bad.
Like put a kill switch there and then just move that guy up to the top.
Oh, yeah. Just pop it up here or something.
Mm-hmm. Just to get it out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to mention this about the stainless steel.
Yeah.
Like, stainless steel frets are awesome. They sound great. They're durable. They last forever. The problem is they last forever. So if you ever, like, I'm a big fan of going and getting guitars plecked, especially as they age. And, like, that's where, like, something like this, impossible to tell on, like, a first reaction video.
Mm-hmm. You'll need a year or two.
Yeah, like, stability over time is what it tells you. And, like, my setup, like, my PRS Custom 22, that thing has been stable for 2 decades. I've done nothing to it. It's never been set up. It's never needed it. It's literally been dropped multiple times off of a stage, like, and it's fine.
And in loads of different tunings and stuff at different points in time.
Yeah, it's been on the road, in trailers, in different humidity. And then I have some other guitars that have literally just lived here in a controlled environment, and they are so unstable. Like, you'll have the neck moving, you'll have all this other stuff, and I don't know if it's like comes down to like how
second they're happy, the next second they're mad, throwing stuff, just super unstable.
Yeah, And I don't know if it's just the wood wasn't totally dry when you started making it, or if it wasn't a high quality of a wood, or somebody made it on a Tuesday and they just wanted to get out of there. I don't know. But that's where like initial reactions of a guitar can only go so far.
Right.
But that's all we have to go on right now. And initially, I have played worse guitars.
Most definitely. I played worse guitars at higher ticket prices too.
It's like that same thing with Loughton. Like, if I'm nothing if not a Loughton fanboy, and I think it goes without saying, like, there's no sponsor for this video, and I don't even think they don't even watch these videos. So me saying anything like this has no bearing on them whatsoever. And me, I've got plenty of microphones, whatever. But Loughton is one of those companies where bang for buck, they will beat out most stuff at the same price point. And this kind of feels like that. Yeah. I mean, given time. If we come back 6 months and this thing still plays like it does now, good Lord.
I like to think it will. Joshua of Joshua Powell has a Vola Vosti, I believe it is. It's the T-type.
Okay, like the Telly.
Mm-hmm. And he's had that one for a handful of months now, and it also has been through the ringer. You know, lots of shows.
Well, he's not like, not to say he's not reckless, but he's not careful with instruments.
Right. Yeah. He lets them live their lives.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not a helicopter parent with them.
And he's a performer on stage.
Exactly.
And I imagine if he's taking this thing with him, it's seen abuse.
And as most of us are, we are heavy in the sweat game. We get sweaty when we play out live.
So how has it held up?
Feels great. I mean, could probably use another set of strings, but aside from that,
he hasn't changed his strings in 6 months.
Oh, I think he has.
That's unacceptable.
No, I think he has. It's just when you're playing, especially summer in Indiana with the humidity and stuff, mixed with, you know, sweating on it, playing a multiple hour gig outside, that kind of thing.
But it hasn't needed like a setup or anything for that first initial.
I don't believe so.
That's a good.
I'll check in with him, and I'll throw something up on screen if I'm wrong about it. But I don't think it's been set up at all since he got it.
It's like, as much as I love the guitar, the one right off camera right there, my Fender Telly,
yes, yeah,
American Standard. That is not a cheap guitar. Mm-hmm. About every 6 months, it has to get a pretty serious tune-up. And right now, it needs one. One
defense of that could be because it's a Nashville tuning, though.
It is, right, but why would it be lifting the way it is?
It's bowing.
It's yes, and that's why that guitar is strung Nashville, because I'm like, maybe it's just going through a time and it just needs less tension.
Yeah.
Even with far less tension on that neck, it is not having a good time.
I wonder if it's just a weird truss rod problem or something. I don't know. I'm no luthier.
But like, this is just my own curiosity. I want to know what that guitar costs, because I've had that for probably 10 years at this point, 10 or 12 years. There she is. It's more expensive.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put these in the same bulb. If you go rub your hand across the frets of that neck.
Oh, I have.
It's not a good time.
You don't have to wear gloves, but you got to be careful.
I mean, it's not going to cut you, but that's where I'm surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dollar for dollar. Like, and I changed those pickups out because I'm not even a guy to change pickups out, but I changed them out on that guitar, the American Standard. And like, you shouldn't want to do that. I know
not at that ticket price. No,
I know. And that's like a $1,500 guitar. And this you said was 12?
$1,229.
Okay. I don't know. That's and the tuners suck.
Well, that's the crazy thing. Oh, I've said this before on previous episodes, but I think that I'm seeing more often now that guitars are coming stock with locking tuners, and when they don't, especially when they're higher ticket. Like
if you're over $1,000,
I would even wager if you're over $800 and you don't get locking tuners, I'm slightly irked by it because there are some tuners out there, some guitars that don't really need them.
Yeah.
But
and you can string your guitar in a way to kind of get that lock, and that guitar is like that. But still, the machine heads there, they slip.
Yep.
And like you can have like a locking tuner versus a non-locking tuner, whatever. If the machine, am I even calling it the right thing? The gear, whatever.
Right.
If they slip, they slip, regardless of how hard it's holding your string.
Yeah.
So like it's nice to have locking tuners, but I would rather know that gear is going to be good over time, whatever that part is called. And again, my PRS, that thing, 2 decades, rock solid. That thing has always been my problem child, but I freaking love that guitar. Like it's one of those, like, I want to love it. And you see, like, I caught the darn thing on fire multiple times. We'll have to show like a picture of it.
Yeah.
But that was my slam guitar. But at the time when I bought that like 12-ish years ago, that was a really expensive guitar.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, even now, it's still an expensive guitar. But now that, stuff feels like it's changing. And I know I'm not like an old guy, but I'm getting older. So even seeing like options coming from other locations, like imports that can hang, like really, really hang.
Any guitar brand that is embracing that, like, I would say boutique. I think that's technically the right word, but I wouldn't necessarily call it that because in my mind, boutique invokes this idea of extra expensive because it's handcrafted by a small team or one person. But any kind of like homegrown brand of instruments where it's either one guy or a group of a handful putting it together, I'm in full support of that. I absolutely love it. Okay, a little bit on the woo-woo side. I do feel as though sometimes an instrument can have its own type of personality. And I feel like I get that much more strongly from a company that is just 1 to 5 to 10 people that are in charge of putting everything together.
Yeah, and you have like, there's the pick of the litter mentality with a lot of guitars. Like acoustic guitars, it's a whole lot easier to find in like lower price brackets. If you try multiples of the same model of the same price, one's going to stand out. It gets a little different in the electric guitar world, but it's still very much a thing. Like you get the pick of the litter. If you have a lineup of very affordable guitars, one of them is going to stand out. I don't know if that's kind of when you have like a smaller company, you have more of those picks of the litter because they have to be very careful.
Well, and I think on top of that, you have each individual person that's a part of the process is more invested in that one product coming out because when you're so closely tied to it, it's kind of a representation of yourself when that is shipped and then played by somebody.
How big of a company is Vola?
I'm unsure. This whole conversation for me is just I'm thinking of
we're like talking very little about Vola here.
That's fair.
That's totally fine. Like I said from the start, like I don't know a whole lot about this company, but if this is a representation of what they can put out, I'm here for it. I can get over the headstock shape. You know what I mean?
And I like it. So,
well, okay, hang on, because I'm looking at this one. That one's the right side up.
Is it a JZ FRO?
No, that's a different one.
Yeah, they're not all reverse.
Oh. Is that a hollow body with a Godo?
Isn't that slick? He's looking at the KJM J1. Very similar looking, but actual humbuckers, gold hardware, and it's a similar hollow with an F hole.
Kind of like a fancy telly with a...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It does have more of the T-style like hardware. So it's like a thin line. but an offset body shape.
I'd love to have a hollow body. I'm trying to find stuff like about them, but I don't know. I mean, really, the only experience I've had with them is I know you got a bass, Josh got a bass, or you got a bass, Josh got a guitar. Mm-hmm. Did he track with that one on one of the last?
I don't believe he had it yet.
Yeah. Because I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think he had it in his possession when we did those last 2 tunes here.
Well, Josh will just have to.
We'll just have to do another
come
one.
Back in.
Speaking of which, this Friday, Tune the Harp comes out.
So when this is out, that song's already out, probably.
It depends on how fast if I fast track this one for tomorrow.
This is Tuesday.
I know. I was thinking about maybe fast tracking it for tomorrow.
Okay.
Because we haven't had one this week yet.
So either it will already be out or it comes out in 2 days. Either way.
Let's do this.
Go listen to that song.
It comes out in 2 days, day after tomorrow, Friday. So you can go check it out.
Oh, okay.
It came out this past Friday, so you can go check it out.
I see what you did.
Gotta have options.
That was a fun one. We imposed like limitations and used just AEA ribbon mics. Mm-hmm. Well, small world. We've got AEA ribbon mics on the guitars right now.
But you didn't have these specific mics at that time.
These didn't exist at that time.
Yeah.
We had the ones that kind of look like those. We had the N22s that we used on toms, and guitars, and bass. Loved those. But this is a smaller, lighter weight ribbon. Mm-hmm. And I like this a lot better. It feels a little more articulate, a little brighter. The N22s were beasts on toms.
Yes.
That was unreal. I did not expect that. And those were the ones I was least expected to like in that whole process. I was super excited about the KU5A. I have wanted that mic for so long, and when I finally got it, I really didn't like it.
Oh no.
I mean, it was okay. I used it on the vocal, but I worked hard on that vocal on that record, which now if you want to go hear it, go hear it. It's out. You can go listen to it.
Or it's coming out.
Or yeah, it's coming. But so you can tell me what you think of that vocal sound, but I had to work really, really hard to get it to that point. And I realized, like, even though a mic looks cool and I think I want it, like that KU5A, I just wanted it for so long and I finally got it. I'm like, this is not for me.
And even if a mic doesn't look cool at all, sometimes it sounds good, like the MV7 Plus.
Yeah. All right. I see what you did. I really don't like the way that mic looks, but it does sound really good.
I don't either. Yeah.
It's disgusting. Whoever designed that,
for shame.
You had a working design. Why did you?
If it had to be a smaller profile, why not just take the exact SM7B design and just shrink it a little bit?
I don't know. It's an abomination. I said it, but it sounds great. If you don't need to look at it, it's a fantastic mic.
We could just start a business and 3D print new housings for it.
I don't know how to do that.
We'll figure it out.
But I can judge. Like, no,
not this
disgusting.
One.
It's the most subjective company in history. How long we been going here?
I don't know.
So this isn't even really a guitar. We just happen to have a guitar while we're talking.
I don't know. It gives me something to do with my hands. I like it.
I mean, all in all, this is very much like a first impression thing. And I'll say it again. The true test will be like 6 months down the road. What do we think? And what's today's date? What is it? July 23rd. Tuesday,
July 23rd.
So around Christmas time, if this thing's still sitting.
And that'll give us an opportunity too it's probably not really going to leave this building, I would imagine.
No, I mean, maybe for a couple performances. I don't play out a ton, and when I do, it's in and out in the same day.
Well, I was going to mention that would give us an opportunity to see environmental changes, how it reacts to that, but it probably won't really notice any.
It'll probably go home with me because that feels like a good couch guitar. Because one thing I didn't talk about, like it being offset, like those are typically like monstrous and heavy. This is a smaller body.
Yeah.
Like as far as the GNL, offset. I love that thing.
It's a little bit of a bigger body.
It's heavy. I freaking love that guitar. It sounds great. This is different. Like this, and the neck on the GNL is a baseball bat.
Yes.
Which initially I did not like, and I've grown to really like playing certain things on that guitar. Like,
well, I've told you before, I love skinny flat necks. The GNL neck is one of the only baseball type of thick necks that I actually feel comfortable playing on.
Well, like this, I love the offset style, which having that like in a faster neck, lighter weight body, it just feels like a sports car version of the GNL.
Looks like a sports
car. So like
version.
It'll probably go home and be like my couch guitar.
This is your first P90 guitar in the studio, right?
Yeah, I've never had a P90 guitar.
Yeah. So you can get some of those slanky, stringy sounds coming out of it.
And I mean, I am one of the least educated people on pickups. Like I told you, I'm not going to change out a pickup on a guitar unless there's a problem. And I did that with the American Standard. Again, there's way too much money in that guitar for what it is. These feel good.
Yeah.
Like, I think I'm a P90 fan, and I did not know that. Learning something about myself.
I go back and forth on them. These feel great. They sound great. They are, to me, a little bit fuller and richer sounding than some of the other P90s I've played in the past, which I think is why I like them a lot. If I had to make a choice, though, it's always going to be a lipstick pickup on the neck, like a Telly lipstick pickup on the neck. I just love that sound. Unless I'm trying to, rip out some heavy distortion stuff or whatever. But for my at-home noodling, it's what you're doing, like a little bit of ambiance, clean stuff, but throw it on the neck pickup and just have a good time.
It just feels good. It's fast. It's stable.
That's a good feeling.
That's the Goto 510.
Drop it all the way down, bring it back up, and it's still in tune.
Like, I almost lost the saddle up here. It was that loose. Cool. Have we put this one to bed?
Well, we can put it to bed. You want to take a little nap, little guy? Do you name your instruments? Have you ever?
I have never. Do you want to name it? Do you want to name it?
Ooh. We should let them name it.
I'll put a sticker on the back of it if you guys name it.
It doesn't matter what the name is. It'll just be a random sticker. It's not going to be affiliated with the name at all.
I will refer to it by that. As long as I could say it around my children.
Oh, of course. Yeah. Before I accumulated as many instruments as I have now, I used to name all of my instruments, but they had to be like old lady names. So I've had
Ethel.
I've never had an Ethel. I've had a Gertrude, Beatrice.
If you chop up this clip in the right way, it's going to seem real inappropriate. I've had a Gertrude.
I've had a Gertrude. I've had a Beatrice. At one time, I had a Mary Lou and a Bernine at the same time. I just stuff them in the bag. Oh, no. Ooh, that was a pretty good bleg.
I have been working on my screams.
Have you?
That's different.
I need to. I watched a video. I had a long drive to Illinois for a gig over the weekend, and I stumbled across a video for Fry vocal, like Fry screaming. And I tried to play along, and I wasn't very good at it. I knew I wasn't doing it right because it hurt my throat, and I know you're not supposed to.
Yep.
But they were saying it's like when you talk like this and you have that like breakup, and then you just try to like push it harder.
Well, it depends where your natural voice register is. Like if you've got, to me, it's like a combination of two things, like the gorilla, like ooh ooh. If you can do that, and then the bored teenager, like So if you combine those. Like woo, then you can really get it.
I feel like I can do just like the lower not super pitched kind of thing. I did it on the upcoming song. But I don't know. I want to be able to do other screams. It seems so fun.
That was one thing I've been working on while I was doing that show.
Yeah.
An hour drive back and forth every day. I was just constantly
just screaming.
One song, you can hear the mechanics of the guy doing it that works so well. Let me figure out the song. Because it's kind of what taught me to do it. Because you can really, with some people's voices, you can just hear where they place it in their head. Mm-hmm. At least I feel like I can tell what somebody's doing pretty easily. Wage War Death Roll.
Oh, yeah, I know that song.
You can hear where he places it in his head. And like that one and The Plot in You, not that. The Plot in You, Forgotten. Like you can kind of hear him like on a more tired section doing it, but you can hear where they're placing it. It really helps to figure it out mechanically. That
is an interesting perspective to have when listening to songs that I've never done because I'm not a vocalist. So I recognize aspects of vocals that I really enjoy, but I've never attunely listened to a song for those types of things the same way I would when it comes to guitar tone, bass tone, production techniques, things like that. So I'll have to think about that more when I listen to tunes.
There you go.
Yeah. There goes the monetization.
Sorry, not sorry.
Is it time?
It's time.
Is it time?
Come on, Rexy.
Rexy Rex. I need to get a better sound for that instead of the AI guy saying, now it is time for Record Rex.
If you guys like this kind of thing, this is fun. It's a different vibe, though, because I feel like both of us are so different players, or I'm just going to sit and kind of play and zone out.
I also would do that.
I'm genuinely interested if we gave any interesting information.
Hopefully, at the very least, if it wasn't interesting, it was at least fun. Do you have fun? Because we like fun. We like promoting fun.
And we like saving you money on possible imported guitars.
That's true. We didn't even go down the rabbit hole of other Japanese guitar brands and stuff, but
that is something I think I want to explore more because I'm old enough to be like, imports suck, like generally, but they don't anymore, and they haven't for a while. And
I would love to get your hands on an UPEG.
I don't even know what that is.
Phenomenal guitar. I've played 3 different models of those, and they're all crazy good. But there's a handful of other smaller Japanese companies, but then, like I said, you have your, at least as far as Japanese-based companies, you have your Ibanez, Fernandez, RIP, ESP, Yamaha.
Yep. I mean, ESP is easy to forget that it's like a Japanese-made brand.
Yeah.
And because there's a lot of people who, like, that's the epitome of guitar playability.
Yeah.
And I don't know, different schools and different genres are going to think very different things about their instruments, and it's just a really interesting conversation. And I think ultimately it's good. Like something imported that is affordable and is a fine instrument is very good in the long term because it's going to make American-made stuff that may be slipping, or they're going to have to work for it. And I think that the argument that just buy American to buy American, maybe that's valid for some people, but I don't know. Like, I don't think that helps us just buy American to buy American. No, it should be good. It should be the best, and that's why we should want to buy it.
Yeah. My last thought on it is for at least specifically Fender basses. Mm-hmm. There's like this era of made in Japan basses that are like highly sought after, just for the craftsmanship and the playability and kind of the sonic response that those basses have.
Well, there's the same with a small level of, what were they? It's an acoustic brand. Was it Japanese Alvarez? That's probably not right.
Takamine?
Takamine?
That's what I was thinking of.
Okay. There's all sorts of like, but every time there's like that sought after thing, it seems like it's made in Japan or like the few years where like,
Yeah, Takamine or Takamine or Take a Mine.
I like those great guitars.
Great and fairly low budget. They can be, I should say.
I had one for years.
Yeah. I like them. I also like Breedlove. I know they got a lot of hate, but
Never played one.
super bright. And
I wouldn't like it then.
Yeah. I super bright in a percussive sense. I don't like Taylors because of their form of brightness. I much more prefer Martins because of the larger kind of warmer body sound. And I know there's always exceptions. Like I'm just very generally speaking here, but I like Breedlove stuff. They're very like percussive sounding. I don't know.
This is way off topic, kind of. And I know we've already gone like super long. I just had a session here the end of last week, and we were doing a lot of acoustic stuff. It was a worship record. And what you get like acoustic players, they all have like their big time opinions, and it seems like you're either Taylor or you're Martin. I never gave much school of thought to either one of those. It's like, if it's a good guitar, it's a good guitar. Fair. I don't really care.
Yeah.
But they were kind of arguing because one guy was Taylor, one guy was Martin, and we had both of them in the room. I thought they both sucked, if I'm just being honest. And we recorded both of them, and then I handed them a completely different guitar, and they're like, "Oh, I don't want it's not my Taylor, it's not a Martin." It kicked the crap out of both of these guitars. They're like, "What is this?" Like, it's a fraction of the cost of your multi-$1,000 instruments that cannot stay in tune.
To put that in the conversation we've been having this whole episode, I think that there's some of that problem amongst so many different brands where they become well known and sought after, and sometimes it does feel like that's where the price is coming. You're paying for that name tag on it.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to speak for specific brands, and I don't know if this is really what happens, but it seems as though sometimes quality starts to slip because of that.
Yeah, and I don't want to seem like I'm dumping on Taylor and Martin. They're clearly fine instruments.
And there's tons of tremendous guitars that both companies make.
Yeah, and it could very much be like how they've taken care of their instrument over the years. So there's a whole lot of factors there at play. But it was more to get at like the mindset going with guitars, because there's people who will only play certain brands because they think that's the epitome of what guitar making is. And I've fallen into that trap a whole lot, and just getting this, I was like not excited about it, and then I'm like, wait a second, what's happening here?
So would you say that the moral of the story is, if it sounds good,
it's good.
Yeah.
If it feels good, it's good. If it just open your mind up a little bit.
Not physically. Don't do that. Like keep all these inside parts on the inside.
We need to give these wrecks. Our battery's gonna die.
Rawr.
Now it's time for Record Rex.
Mine is, I don't even know how to pronounce this. It's called Greg's Walk.
Okay.
I don't know how to pronounce the artist. You'll have to put it up there.
Ooh.
This is a slow burn. All right. It's like a 9-minute song.
Very atmospheric.
But it changes to what you don't expect it. Let me fast forward a little bit here.
Oh, it's got Mike Stern records on it.
Can we go a little further? It's a trip. And that whole awesome. Record is a trip. I don't know how to say his name, so you'll have to put it up. That's not even letters I recognize.
Yeah, I'll throw it up on the screen right now.
That looks like a T, but I don't know.
But heavy hitters on that song.
Yeah.
Wow.
The whole record's a vibe, and I actually heard that on the radio.
Really?
Yeah.
What radio station were you listening to?
Driving back and forth to these out of town things for gigs. Like,
Surely it was an AM station.
it was a super late night in some college radio, and this kid was like, "Okay, we're gonna play this now for my senior class." Like, I was like, "This is a banger!" I listened to the whole 9 minutes, and then he played like a few other songs on the record. Like, that was a joy.
Very cool. I'm 100% listening to that.
Good.
My record rec ties back into earlier in this episode, way far back. I said that Elden Ring was going to come back up.
Okay.
I've been going back through it because the DLC came out, and the OST for that game is something special. I'm not saying that it's the best soundtrack out there.
OST is soundtrack.
Original soundtrack, yeah.
Got it.
I'm not saying that it is even the most memorable, but what it does to creating an atmosphere is something really special. And every once in a while, I come back to appreciating that aspect of creativity, because so many times, for me at least, I get really stuck in the musical mindset of song making or songwriting or production of a song, but not so much of the other utilities that music can have, right? So the whole OST is great to listen to, but the final boss song, final battle, is something special. It's full orchestral. It's epic. Great gym music, by the way. And if you know anything about the imagery of Elden Ring, I think you might kind of understand even more how this plays into that atmosphere. It's very kind of, there's a word for it that I can't think of off the top of my head, but like a grotesque nature to the environment and enemies and stuff.
That's cool. Did anybody notice that I just like, what's the old guy's name? Old YouTuber, music guy?
Oh, Rick Beato.
I just Rick Beato'd that. I was like,
You did.
we're in B.
You did, yeah.
I'm impressed.
Start calling him Rick.
I'm going to just start yelling at the sky. I'm mad. Let's go through the charts. These all suck. Let me teach you a scale. It's easy.
Just do that again.
It's easy. He's not that mad.
No.
In my mind, he is, though. Please don't get mad at us, Rick.
No, I only want Rick to love us if he ever learns of our existence.
He is the music daddy of YouTube.
In more ways than one. I'd love to sit down with him. He does seem like a genuinely cool guy. His long form interviews are awesome.
Yeah. I watch his stuff.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Well, if you stuck with us this long, you should drop a
Beato.
I don't think they have that emoji.
No, we're just gonna summon him to the gods.
Battery exhausted.
That's where we end.